Hey everybody, today I'm going to be doing an unboxing video and hopefully a demonstration of the 1106 Brome Squirrel Buster Suet Feeder. If you're not familiar with Brome, Brome is a birding company that makes different bird feeders. If you're a birder like me, you're probably familiar with some of their feeders. Here I've got the Mini Squirrel Buster. I think they're mainly known for their Squirrel Buster line. This is the only other feeder I've ever had by Brome. This is the Mini Squirrel Buster. It's the best seed feeder I've ever used. So I've used several different feeders. Not only does it help with deterring squirrels, but just in terms of bird popularity, for whatever reason it seems like birds prefer this feeder over any other feeder I've ever used. So anyway, I was happy with the seed feeder, and they've come out with this suet feeder, and I've decided to make that purchase. And thought it might be beneficial to do an unboxing video in case there's anybody else out there who's looking to purchase the same item. As with all of my videos, I purchase these items with my own money. I don't get anything for doing the review. I just think it's kind of fun to look back and see items I've bought in the past and try and help out other people who might be looking to buy the same item. Kind of get an idea of what you might be interested in, what you might be getting should you decide to order the same thing. So first and foremost, as I knew when I ordered this thing, it is big. So if you're planning on hanging it for from something that's not very sturdy or not designed for hanging something heavy, you might want to look for a different suet feeder. I'm going to be hanging it from a sturdy metal pole, so I'm not too worried about it. But let's take a look at what we get. Nothing too special on the box. I will say this, it's designed, Squirrel Buster is the main main name, and I think that's what Brome kind of promotes themselves for. I'm not necessarily buying it to keep squirrels off. I'm buying it to try and prevent larger birds from eating my suet. Primarily blue jays, where I live, we get blue jays, they'll come and they'll knock out a suet cake in a day or two. So I'm hoping this feeder might help with that. It's kind of funny, on this box it's showing all the birds that you can attract with suet, and sure enough, blue jay is one of them. Don't I know? Anyway, the box is pretty basic. It does have an 800 number for Brome, and it has their email address. Lifetime care, I don't know really what that means. I don't think the feeder has a lifetime warranty, but I think they offer lifetime assistance if you've got this feeder. So let's open it up and take a look at it. I think what I'm going to do here, because I'm just opening it, I don't know how this feeder works. I'm going to do the unboxing, and then I'll take a few minutes, get familiar with how the feeder works, so I'll come back and show you how to set it up. So let's see what we get. Looks like just a pamphlet for Project Feeder Watch. Feederwatch.org through Cornell Lab. If you're not familiar with Cornell Lab, they've actually got a pretty cool website where you can just go on there. They have live cameras on different bird feeders across the United States. You can sit there and watch bird feeders on your computer. They also have a really good app that is for bird identification. So anyway, just some information on Cornell Bird Lab. Squirrel Buster Lifetime Feeder Assistance, just a brochure from Brome about their different feeders. Win a Squirrel Buster feeder by subscribing to BromeBirdNews.com. So just a pamphlet promoting their website, and it looks like YouTube channel, and a product registration card. So that that concludes the paperwork. Let's take a look at the feeder itself. Wow, it is heavy. It is big and heavy. Just to give you an idea, here's a suet cake. By the way, I don't get anything for promoting these, but these are the suet cakes I use. Royal Wing, no melt, and I tend to buy the orange flavor Royal Wing. These are sold at Tractor Supply, and I don't know who makes, Tractor Supply obviously doesn't make them. I'm assuming there's a manufacturer out there that makes these, but These are the ones I have the best luck with. So anyway, that's what I'll be feeding in this feeder. But look at the size of the Suet Cake versus the feeder. Like I say, it's a large feeder. If you've ever used a Brome product, I think it's going to work pretty much the same way the other ones do, where you have kind of a feeder in the middle, and then you have a cage on the outside that kind of sits over the feeder and goes up and down as birds try and eat. So, let's see. Hopefully you guys are able to see all this. What I'm going to do now is, I think I'm going to, I thought we were done with the paperwork. I'll just show you some of the other paperwork. Important notice, basically it's saying you need to have clearance from a tree when you hang this feeder. And here's the actual instruction booklet for the feeder. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the instruction booklet, figure out how this feeder works, and then I'll come back and give a demonstration of how you set it up, and we'll put it out and see if we get any action. Okay, so I've had a few minutes to go through the instruction booklet, and it's really a pretty self-explanatory feeder. There's not too much to it. First and foremost, there's a hook that comes with the feeder, and this is how all of their feeders hang. You're basically going to run this hook through the eye of the feeder, and then it just hangs like so. So that's that. So the whole key with this feeder is you've got a tension nut up here at the top. There's a red nut inside of this plastic tube, and then there's a black like screw on the top, and you'll see as I'm turning it, like right now, that nut is going up, and this coil in here is getting tighter. If I go the other way, sorry, I'm backwards. If I go this way, the nut is getting lower, and this coil is getting tighter. If I come up, the coil is getting looser. Anyway, it walks you through that in the instruction booklet, but what you're going to do with this is what's going to determine how easy the cage moves up and down. So if you want to let big birds eat from the feeder, you can adjust this accordingly. If you're in a situation like me where you don't want the bigger birds eating from the feeder, you can set it to where if any bird with any kind of weight gets on the feeder, it'll drop down and it'll prevent the birds from eating. So anyway, that's kind of the your main setting screw. The feeder holds 2 suet cakes, one on one side, one on the other side. And as far as putting the suet cake in, it's pretty easy. Let me show you. You've got 2 different arms right here. In each one there's a little red sticker when you get the feeder that says open. All you're going to do is pull this back, and when you do it, this yellow box slides down. And what this box is it's actually your suet cage. It's a yellow, solid plastic box with an aluminum arm. And all you do is you undo it. It's got a latch here at the bottom. And that's where you put your suet cake. And what's really nice with this that I didn't really think about until I started looking at the feeder is I use no melt suet, mainly because they don't make a mess like the ones that melt. But if you do use the ones that melt that are kind of greasier in material, they basically lay up against this plastic here, and they never get inside your feeder. And then if you ever need to clean it, all you gotta do is take this whole plastic piece out and clean it. So I would think it should be pretty nice from a cleaning standpoint if you use the regular suet that's a little bit greasier. Again, I use the no melt, and that stuff's not too bad. It's more of a powdery finish. But anyway, when you want to feed your suet, put your suet cake in here, pull down the arm till it latches. The arm keeps the suet cake from moving. You're going to take your feeder and you're going to lay it. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it, but there's some tracks right here that line up with the tracks on this yellow box. You're just going to lay your feed like that, slide it up, pull this arm back down till the latch catches, and then you just turn it over and do the same thing if you want to feed a second suet cake. So really pretty slick. And then once you've got your suet cakes fed, you're going to take your cage, slide it over the top, put your arm through the top, and go hang it. And the way this feeder is designed, really this bottom does nothing. But what the top does is right here, you can see there's a little hole in your cage, and that's where the birds can hang here and they can eat from there. When they land on it, or if a squirrel lands on it and it drops down and it closes where nothing can get to the suet. Once it leaves, it slides back up. So that's a quick demonstration of the setup and how it works. I'm going to go ahead and get some suet cakes in here, and let's put it out and see if we get any action. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you got any questions.